On a humid Friday night in September 2023, Caleb Bennett, a 34-year-old software engineer with a quiet demeanor, stood at the edge of a bustling Austin, Texas honky-tonk bar, the twang of country music mixing with the chatter of a lively crowd, his hazel eyes scanning the room for his wife Nora, the air thick with the scent of whiskey and barbecue, his heart uneasy as he clutched a cold beer he hadn't touched. Nora's text from earlier, "Meet me at Rusty Spur. It'll be fun," echoing in his mind, her words a promise that now felt hollow, his hazel eyes narrowing as he spotted her across the bar, her blonde hair catching the neon lights, her laugh louder than the music, her hand resting on the arm of a man Caleb didn't know, a man in a tailored blazer. Derek, she'd called him later, her co-worker, her friend, her something. Caleb's stomach twisting as he watched her lean closer, her blue eyes sparkling with a joy Caleb hadn't seen in months, her body angled toward Derek like Caleb didn't exist. His hazel eyes clouding with a mix of hurt and suspicion, the bar's laughter and clinking glasses a cruel backdrop to his growing dread, his best friend Lucas, nudging him with a grimace. "That doesn't look good, man." His voice low, his eyes flicking toward Nora, Caleb's throat tightening. Unable to speak, unable to admit that his Nora, the woman he'd married 5 years ago in a sunflower field outside Austin, was making him feel like a ghost in her world, his hazel eyes burning as he forced himself to cross the bar, his boots heavy on the wooden floor, the neon lights casting shadows on his face. "Nora," he said, his voice steady but laced with a storm he couldn't hide, her blue eyes snapping to him, a flicker of surprise before she flashed that smile, too bright, too forced. "Oh, hey babe, you made it." Her tone casual, her hand still on Derek's arm. "This is Derek from work, you've met, right?" Her words a dagger, Caleb's hazel eyes meeting Derek's smug grin, a grin that said he knew something Caleb didn't. "No, I haven't," Caleb replied, his voice colder than the beer in his hand. "Can we talk?" His request simple, but the tension in his jaw betrayed the chaos inside. Nora's blue eyes hesitating, glancing at Derek before she shrugged. "Can it wait? We're just catching up." Her dismissal a slap, Caleb's hazel eyes darkening. "No, it can't." His tone sharp now, cutting through the bar's noise, the air between them crackling as she sighed, muttering something to Derek before following Caleb to a corner near the jukebox, her arms crossed, her blue eyes defensive. "What's your problem, Caleb?" Her voice sharp like he was the one out of line, his hazel eyes searching hers for the woman he'd loved, but finding a stranger instead. "What are you doing, Nora?" he asked, his voice low, trembling with hurt. "You're all over him, right?" "In front of me," her blue eyes rolling. "You're being dramatic, he's just a friend." Her words a lie Caleb could feel in his bones, his hazel eyes glistening with unshed tears. Her casual rejection a wound deeper than he'd expected. "If you're going to act like this, maybe you should leave," she added, turning back to Derek without a second glance, Caleb's hazel eyes following her, his heart sinking as she reclaimed her spot beside Derek, her laugh echoing again, each note a reminder of his invisibility, his hazel eyes blurring as he turned to leave, Lucas's hand on his shoulder. "You don't deserve this." His friend's words a faint comfort, Caleb's steps heavy as he walked into the Austin night, the humidity clinging to his skin. His phone buzzing with Nora's name, a call he couldn't answer. Not now, not when every laugh from that bar felt like a betrayal he couldn't unsee, a betrayal that would change everything he thought he knew about love, about trust, about the woman he'd vowed to spend his life with, a betrayal that left him standing alone under the neon glow of the Rusty Spur, his hazel eyes fixed on the horizon, his heart racing with a question he wasn't ready to face. What happens next? The morning after the Rusty Spur betrayal, Caleb Bennett, a 34-year-old software engineer with a heart now cracked by suspicion, sat in the dim light of their downtown Austin condo on a cloudy Saturday in September 2023, the city's skyline. Muted through the rain-streaked windows, his hazel eyes bloodshot from a sleepless night, the hum of the coffee maker, the only sound in a home that felt colder than ever, his mind replaying Nora's laugh, her hand on Derek's arm, her blue eyes sparkling for someone else, the memory a knife twisting deeper with every loop. His hazel eyes fixed on the kitchen counter where Nora's phone lay charging, It screamed dark but screaming secrets Caleb couldn't ignore, his hands trembling as he picked it up. Her passcode, 1219, their anniversary, unchanged since their sunflower. Field wedding. A bitter irony that made his chest ache, his hazel eyes narrowing as he unlocked it, expecting answers, but finding only locked apps and deleted messages. A dead end that fueled his frustration, his hazel eyes darting to the hallway where Nora slept, her blonde hair splayed on the pillow, her alibi from last night. I just stayed for one more. Drink, babe. A lie he could taste, his heart pounding as he set the phone down, his mind racing for another way to uncover the truth, a truth he needed to face, no matter how much it hurt. His hazel eyes landing on the study door, a room Nora rarely used, where her old laptop sat gathering dust, a lifeline he hadn't considered until now, his hazel eyes flickering with a desperate resolve as he slipped into the study. The laptop, powering on with a faint hum, no password, a small mercy in a morning of torment, his hazel eyes scanning the desktop, his fingers shaking as he opened her email. The inbox sparse, spam, work memos, nothing personal, until he clicked the sent folder, his breath catching as he saw a message to D, the subject line. Last night at Rusty Spur, a punch to his gut, his hazel eyes widening as he opened it, the words searing into his soul. Derek, last night was electric. I haven't felt this way in years. Can't wait for more. N. Each letter a betrayal, each sentence a confirmation of the nightmare he'd feared, his hazel eyes glistening with tears he couldn't hold back. The email dated 1:14 a.m., hours after she'd told him to leave, hours after she'd laughed in Derek's arms, his hazel eyes burning as he scrolled further, finding another email, a forwarded hotel reservation for next weekend. Hotel San Jacinto, couple's suite. See you there, D. A plan Nora hadn't whispered to him, a secret life she'd built without him, his hazel eyes clouding with a rage he'd never known, his best friend Lucas's voice echoing from last night. You don't deserve this. A truth that now felt like a call to action. His hazel eyes darting to the bedroom door as he heard Nora stir, his heart a war zone of hurt and fury, his hands screenshotting the emails, saving the proof of her betrayal, his hazel eyes steadying as he closed the laptop, a quiet vow forming. He wouldn't confront her yet, not until he had more, not until he could face her with a truth she couldn't deny, a truth that would either break him or set him free, his hazel eyes lifting to the rain outside, the Austin skyline a grey blur, his mind flashing to their wedding day, her laugh in the sunflowers, her hand in his, a promise now ash in his throat, his hazel eyes hardening as he realized she wasn't the woman he'd married, not anymore. She was a stranger living a life he wasn't part of, a life that crushed the man who'd once believed in forever, his hazel eyes glistening as he sat in the study's silence, the rain a distant drum, his heart torn between love and betrayal. A heart that knew he couldn't stop now, a heart that demanded answers no matter the cost, no matter the pain, no matter what he found next, a heart that whispered a dangerous truth. This was only the beginning, a beginning that would either destroy him or forge him into someone new, someone ready to face the storm, someone ready to uncover every lie she'd buried, someone ready to reclaim the life she thought she could erase. 4 days after finding the damning emails, Caleb Bennett sat in his parked car under a flickering streetlight in Austin's South Congress District on a humid Wednesday night in September 2023, the neon glow of Hotel San Jacinto casting shadows. Across his face, his hazel eyes sharp with a mix of dread and determination, his hands gripping the steering wheel as he watched the boutique hotel's entrance, the email he'd found, Hotel San Jacinto, couple's suite, see you there, D, burned into his memory, a cruel reminder of Nora's secret life, his hazel eyes tracing the memory of her that morning, her blonde hair tied back, her blue eyes avoiding his as she'd left their condo with a breezy, girls' night tonight, don't wait up. Her lie a weight Caleb could feel in his bones, his heart pounding as he waited, the Austin night buzzing with cicadas, the air thick with humidity and the scent of tacos from a nearby food truck, his hazel eyes narrowing as Nora's silver SUV pulled into the hotel lot at 8:37 p.m., her blonde hair catching the streetlight as she stepped out, her black dress clinging to her frame, her movements tense, her blue eyes scanning the lot before she hurried toward the entrance, his hazel eyes darkening as a man emerged from the shadows. Derek, in a crisp white shirt and dark jeans, his grin smug as ever, his hand reaching for Nora's, their fingers intertwining with an ease that stabbed Caleb's gut, his hazel eyes glistening with unshed tears as they disappeared into the hotel, the glass doors reflecting their silhouettes, a sight that felt like 1,000 knives. His hazel eyes burning as he forced himself to follow, his boots silent on the pavement, his heart a storm of rage and grief. The hotel lobby warm with low lighting and the scent of lavender, a young receptionist glancing up with a polite smile. "Can I help you, sir?" Her voice soft, Caleb's hazel eyes darting to the elevator where Nora and Derek had just vanished. "Just meeting someone," he muttered, his voice hollow, the receptionist's nod a small mercy as he slipped toward the stairwell, his hazel eyes fixed on the elevator's floor indicator. Third floor, couple's suite. Just as the email promised, his hazel eyes clouding with a pain he couldn't name as he climbed the stairs, each step heavier than the last, his breath ragged as he reached the third floor, the hallway dim, the sound of Nora's laugh echoing from room 3 to 12. A laugh that used to be his, now stolen by Derek, his hazel eyes brimming with tears as he pressed his ear to the door, the muffled sound of their voices, a torment. Nora's giggle, Derek's low murmur, a clink of glasses, a rustle of fabric, his hazel eyes widening in horror as he heard her whisper, "I've never felt this free," her words a dagger through his heart, a confession that confirmed every fear, every doubt, every nightmare, his hazel eyes streaming now, his fists clenched as he backed away, the hallway spinning, his mind flashing to their first date, dancing at Zilker Park, her laugh in the moonlight, a laugh now given to another man, his hazel eyes hardening as he stumbled back to the lobby, the receptionist's concerned glance following him. "Sir, are you okay?" Her voice distant, Caleb's hazel eyes empty as he nodded, his voice a whisper. "No." His steps unsteady as he returned to his car, the Austin night heavier than before, the cicadas louder, the food truck's lights a cruel contrast to the darkness in his soul, his hazel eyes fixed on the hotel, the third-floor window glowing, a silhouette of Nora and Derek embracing, their shadows a final blow, his hazel eyes glistening as he gripped the steering wheel, his heart shattered but awake, a heart that knew he couldn't pretend anymore, a heart that demanded he face the truth no matter how much it broke him, his hazel eyes narrowing with a clarity that scared him, a clarity that said, this wasn't just betrayal. It was annihilation, a clarity that whispered he had to act, not tomorrow, not next week, but soon, his hazel eyes lifting to the stars above Austin, a quiet vow forming. He'd make her see the pain she'd caused. He'd make her feel the weight of her lies. He'd make her understand what she'd destroyed, no matter what it took, no matter how dark the path, no matter what he lost in the fire that now burned within him, a fire that would either consume him or forge him into someone new, someone who could survive this, someone who could rise from the ashes of a love that was never what he thought it was. On a tense Sunday evening in late September 2023, Caleb Bennett sat on the couch of their downtown Austin condo, the city skyline glittering through the floor-to-ceiling windows, his hazel eyes cold as steel, his hands steady despite the storm raging inside. The weight of Nora's lies, her laugh with Derek at the Rusty Spur, her emails, her whispered freedom at Hotel San Jacinto, crushing the air from his lungs, his hazel eyes fixed on the evidence he'd gathered, screenshots of emails, and a grainy photo from the hotel night, spread across the coffee table like a battlefield. His heart a war zone of grief and fury, the condo silent, except for the faint hum of the AC. Nora's footsteps echoing as she returned from a supposed brunch with friends, her blonde hair slightly messy, her blue eyes bright with a carefree glow Caleb hadn't seen in years, her black sundress swaying as she stepped inside. "Hey babe, I'm back." Her voice light, her smile faltering as she saw Caleb's expression, his hazel eyes unyielding as he muted the TV, the silence heavier than the Austin heat outside. "We need to talk," he said, his voice low, a blade wrapped in calm. Nora's blue eyes narrowing, a flicker of unease crossing her face as she dropped her purse. "About what?" Her tone defensive, her arms crossing like a shield, Caleb's hazel eyes locking on hers. About Derek, the name a grenade tossed into. The room, Nora's blue eyes widening for a split second before she forced a laugh. Too sharp, too hollow. Derek? He's just a friend, Caleb. Don't start this again. Her words a lie he'd heard too many times. His hazel eyes darkening as he stood, his voice colder now. Don't lie to me, Nora. I've seen everything. His hand gesturing to the table, the emails, the photo of her and Derek at the hotel, her blue eyes darting to the evidence, her face paling as the truth closed in, her voice trembling. What is this? You've been spying on me. Her accusation a desperate deflection, Caleb's hazel eyes blazing. Spying? I followed you to the San Jacinto, Nora. I heard you say you've never felt so free. His revelation a thunderclap, her blue eyes filling with tears, not of guilt but of panic, her hands trembling as she backed away. I can explain, she whispered, her voice breaking, Caleb's hazel eyes unyielding. Then explain why you've been sneaking around with him. Explain why you've humiliated me for months, his voice rising. Each word a wound he'd held too long, Nora's blue eyes streaming now, her voice a plea. It wasn't supposed to happen like this, Caleb. It just got out of control. Her confession a dagger, her blue eyes dropping to the floor as she whispered, I think I love him. The words a final blow. Caleb's hazel eyes glistening with tears he refused to let fall, his voice steady but raw. You love him, after 5 years, after everything we've built. His hazel eyes flashing with betrayal, Nora's blue eyes meeting his. I didn't mean to hurt you, I felt trapped. Her excuse a twisted echo of the hotel night, blaming him for her choices, Caleb's hazel eyes narrowing. Don't you dare put this on me, his voice a growl, his best friend Lucas's words echoing, You don't deserve this. A mantra that fueled his resolve, his hazel eyes cold as he delivered the ultimatum. You're leaving, Nora, tonight. Pack your things and go, his tone ice, his heart breaking as he spoke. Nora's blue eyes widening in shock. Caleb, please don't do this. Her voice a sob, her hands reaching for him. But Caleb stepped back, his hazel eyes unyielding. You don't get to beg after what you've done. I don't want to. See you again until I figure out what's next. His words a wall she couldn't breach. Nora's blue eyes hollow as she nodded, her shoulders slumping in defeat. Her movement slow as she packed a bag. Her sundress a cruel reminder of the woman he'd loved. Caleb's hazel eyes following her every step, his heart heavy but resolute. The condo door closing softly behind her. Not a slam, but a seal on there. And his hazel eyes glistening as he sank onto the couch. The Austin skyline a distant glow. His best friend Lucas arriving minutes later, his hand on Caleb's shoulder. You did the right thing. His voice a lifeline. Caleb's hazel eyes staring at the evidence on the table, his heart a battlefield of loss and clarity, a heart that knew he'd faced her lies and survived, a heart that whispered, this wasn't the end, not yet, a heart that vowed to make her feel the weight of her betrayal, a heart that burned with a fire he couldn't extinguish, a fire that would either destroy him or lead him to a truth he'd never imagined, a truth that would define what came next. No matter how dark, no matter how painful, no matter what he had to do to rise from the ashes of a love that had burned him to the ground. 2 weeks after Nora left their Austin condo, Caleb Bennett sat at his desk in the condo's study on a crisp October morning in 2023. The city skyline a stark contrast to the storm within him, his hazel eyes sharp as he opened their joint bank account on his laptop, the numbers glowing on the screen. $42,000, their shared savings, a symbol of trust now weaponized, his hazel eyes narrowing as he transferred all but $500 into a new account in his name alone, a move he'd researched to ensure legality, his heart pounding with a mix of vengeance and guilt. The memory of Nora's betrayal, her laugh with Derek, her whispered, I think I love him. A fire that refused to die, his hazel eyes steady. As he completed the transfer, the confirmation email a quiet victory. A victory he knew would hit her hard, his hazel eyes flickering to his phone as it buzzed with Nora's name. Her text a frantic plea. Caleb, the bank account is almost empty. What did you do? Her words a crack in her facade, his hazel eyes cold as he typed back, You don't get to live off me after what you did. His response a blade, his heart a fortress she couldn't breach. Her reply a string of pleas. Please, I can't. Afford rent, don't do this. But Caleb's hazel eyes were unmoved, his mind set on making her feel the weight of her lies, his hazel eyes turning to the next phase of his plan, a plan to dismantle her social world, a world she'd always cherished. His hazel eyes glinting as he called their mutual friend Emily, a yoga instructor who'd known them since their wedding. His voice calm but laced with intent. Hey, Em, I've been meaning to tell you, Nora's been distant. I think she's hiding something. His words a seed planted with precision. Emily's gasp on the other end a sign it worked. Really? That's... Wow, I had no idea. Her voice a domino falling, Caleb's hazel eyes steady as he continued. Yeah, I found out some things. It's been rough. His vagueness a weapon, knowing Emily would spread the whisper to their circle, his hazel eyes darkening as the rumors took root over the next week. Nora's social media posts, once vibrant with brunches and selfies, going silent, her friends' group chats excluding her, her invitations to gatherings vanishing. His hazel, eyes watching as she unraveled, her text to him growing desperate. Why are people ghosting me, Caleb? What did you say? Her panic a bitter satisfaction, his hazel eyes cold as he ignored her, his heart a battlefield of justice and remorse, the condo quieter than ever, the Austin skyline a distant glow as he sipped a whiskey alone, his hazel, eyes reflecting on the night at the Rusty Spur, her laugh with Derek a scar that drove him forward. His hazel eyes narrowing as he learned through Emily that Nora had been forced to crash on a co-worker's couch, her financial ruin a reality, $500, couldn't cover her downtown rental, her lifestyle crumbling like the trust she'd shattered, his hazel eyes glinting with a grim triumph as he heard Derek had ghosted her too. Emily's update a final twist. She's a mess, Caleb. Derek stopped answering her calls after she lost everything. Her words a confirmation of Nora's fall. Caleb's hazel eyes steady as he leaned back in his chair, the whiskey burning his throat, his heart heavy but resolute, a heart that knew he'd made her feel the pain she'd caused, a heart that whispered this was justice, not cruelty, a heart that still ached for the woman he'd loved in a sunflower field, a heart that questioned if this revenge was worth the emptiness it left. His hazel eyes glistening as he stared at the skyline, the city lights a cruel reminder of their past, dancing at Zilker Park, her hand in his, a past now ashes in his throat, his hazel eyes hardening as he vowed to keep going, to make her see every shard of the life she'd broken, to make her understand the cost of her betrayal, no matter how dark the path, no matter how hollow the victory, no matter what it cost him, a cost he'd bear to rise from the ruins of a love that had once been his everything, a love that now fueled a fire he couldn't extinguish, a fire that would either destroy him or lead him to a new dawn, a dawn he couldn't yet see, but one he'd fight for, no matter what came next. On a stormy Tuesday night in mid-November 2023, Caleb Bennett stood at the door of his downtown Austin condo, the city skyline blurred by sheets of rain hammering the floor-to-ceiling windows, his hazel eyes weary as thunder rumbled outside, his heart a tangled mess of anger and longing, the weight of his revenge. Nora's financial ruin, her social exile, her fall from grace, leaving him hollow despite its bitter satisfaction, his hazel eyes flickering to his phone as it buzzed. With a text from Nora. I need to see you, please. Her words a plea that stirred the ashes of their past, his hazel eyes narrowing as he debated ignoring her, but a flicker of curiosity, or perhaps the ghost of love, made him reply, Come over. His response, a crack in the fortress he'd built, his hazel eyes steady as he waited, the rain a relentless drum, the condo's silence a stark contrast to the chaos within, his hazel eyes lifting as the doorbell rang, Nora standing on the other side, drenched from the storm, her blonde hair plastered to her face, her blue eyes red-rimmed and hollow, her black hoodie soaked, her voice trembling. Caleb, I'm so sorry, I've lost everything. Her confession a raw wound, her blue eyes searching his for a shred of mercy. Caleb's hazel eyes cold at first, his voice low. You brought this on yourself, Nora. His words a shield, his heart aching. As he saw her shiver, her blue eyes brimming with tears, I know and I hate myself for it. I'll do anything to fix this. Her plea a desperate echo of the woman he'd once loved, her blue eyes glistening as she stepped closer. "I've been seeing a therapist. I've cut Derek out completely. Please let me prove I can change." Her words a lifeline thrown into the storm. Caleb's hazel eyes softening for a moment, his mind flashing to their wedding day, her laugh in the sunflower field, her hand. In his, a memory now tainted by her betrayal, his hazel eyes hardening again. "Do you even understand what you've done?" His voice raw, his heart torn between rage and the faint hope her words ignited. Nora's blue eyes dropping, her voice a whisper. "I broke you, I know. I'll regret it forever, but please don't give up on me." Her vulnerability a mirror. To his own pain, Caleb's hazel eyes glistening as he stepped aside, letting her in, the rain a distant roar as she stood in the living room, dripping onto the hardwood, his hazel eyes watching her, his best friend Lucas's voice echoing, "You don't deserve this," a reminder of the pain she'd caused, but also a question, what did he deserve now? His hazel eyes steady as he spoke. "If you're serious, we start with therapy. Together." His condition a fragile bridge, Nora's blue eyes lighting with a flicker of hope. "I'll do it, I swear. I'll do anything." Her voice fervent. Her hands clasped as if in prayer. Caleb's hazel eyes searching hers for lies, finding only raw determination, his heart a battlefield of doubt and possibility, the condo warm but heavy with their shared history, his hazel eyes turning to the window, the storm outside a mirror to his turmoil, his mind racing. What if she betrayed him again? What if this was just another lie? But also, what if she meant it? What if they could rebuild? His hazel eyes glistening as he sat on the couch, Nora sitting across from him, her blue eyes wide with fragile hope, his voice low. "This doesn't mean I trust you. It means I'm willing to try." His words a lifeline for them both, his hazel eyes steady as she nodded, her tears mixing with the rain on her cheeks, his best friend Lucas arriving later, his presence a grounding force. "You sure about this, man?" His voice cautious, Caleb's hazel eyes meeting his. "No, but I need to know if there's anything left to save." His honesty a weight, his heart a fragile ember, an ember that could either spark a new flame or burn out completely. His hazel eyes turning back to Nora, her blue eyes holding his, a silent promise in the storm, a promise he wasn't sure he could believe, a promise that would either heal them or break them for good, a promise that left him standing on the edge of a future he couldn't see, a future that demanded he face his pain, his hope, his fear, a future that would test whether love could survive betrayal, whether they could rise from the ashes, or whether this was the beginning of an end he wasn't ready to face. 5 months after the stormy night of Nora's return, Caleb Bennett stood in the kitchen of their downtown Austin condo on a quiet April evening in 2024, the city skyline glowing softly through the windows, his hazel eyes softer but guarded as he watched Nora chop vegetables for dinner, her blonde hair tied back, her blue eyes focused, a new stillness in her movements, a stillness born from months of therapy and raw honesty, his heart a fragile balance of hope and doubt, the condo warm with the scent of garlic and olive oil, their shared silence a testament to the fragile bridge they'd built, his hazel eyes flickering with the memory of their first couples therapy session, a brutal hour of tears and accusations, Nora's voice cracking as she admitted, "I felt invisible in our marriage." Her words a dagger that forced Caleb to face his own failures, his hazel eyes glistening as he'd replied, "You made me feel like I wasn't enough." The therapist's calm voice guiding them through the wreckage, his hazel eyes steady now as he remembered the weeks that followed, the slow, painful steps toward rebuilding, Nora's consistent therapy, her openness about her guilt, her cutting all ties with Derek, her blue eyes meeting his with a vulnerability he hadn't seen since their early days, his hazel eyes softening as she looked up from the cutting board. "I'm trying, Caleb, I really am." Her voice steady but tinged with fear, her blue eyes searching his for belief, Caleb's hazel eyes holding hers. "I know." His voice soft, a step forward but not a leap, his heart still wrestling with trust. The condo a quiet haven but heavy with their past, his hazel eyes turning to the window, the Austin skyline a reminder of their first date, dancing at Zilker Park, her laugh under the stars, a laugh now shadowed by her betrayal. His hazel eyes, glistening as memories of the Rusty Spur night flooded back. Her hand on Derek's arm, her whispered freedom at the hotel, scars that therapy couldn't erase. His hazel eyes steadying as he pushed the pain down, focusing on the present, the dinner they were making together, a small act of normalcy in a life upended. His hazel eyes lifting as Lucas arrived for a casual visit, his best friend's presence a grounding force. "You two look..." "Okay," Lucas said, his tone cautious, his eyes flicking between them, Caleb's hazel eyes meeting his. "We're trying," his voice honest. Nora's blue eyes smiling faintly, a flicker of the woman Caleb had fallen for, his heart a battlefield of hope and fear. The condo filled with the clink of plates as they sat to eat, the conversation light but laced with an unspoken tension, his hazel eyes watching Nora, her blue eyes softer now, her laugh genuine but careful, a laugh that stirred both warmth and wariness in him, his hazel eyes glistening as she reached for his hand across the table. "I love you, Caleb." Her voice steady, her blue eyes raw with truth. Caleb's hazel eyes holding hers, his heart pounding with a mix of love and hesitation. "I know," he said, his voice soft, unable to say it back, not yet. His hazel eyes steady as she nodded, her blue eyes sad but understanding, her hand squeezing his, a silent promise to keep trying. Caleb's hazel eyes turning to Lucas, his friend's nod a quiet support, the dinner a small victory in a long war, his heart a fragile ember, an ember that glowed with the possibility of healing, but also flickered with the fear of another betrayal. His hazel eyes glistening as he stood to clear the plates, the Austin skyline a distant glow, his mind racing. What if they couldn't rebuild? What if trust never returned? But also what if they could? What if this was a new beginning? His hazel eyes steadying as he returned to the table, Nora's blue eyes meeting his with a quiet determination, a determination that mirrored his. Hone? A determination to rise from the ashes of their past, a past that had burned them both, a past that had left them scarred but still standing, his hazel eyes holding a glimmer of hope, a hope that this fragile bridge could hold, a hope that love could survive the fire, a hope that they could find a future together, a future uncertain, but possible, a future that demanded they face their pain, their fears, their love, a future that would either heal them or break them, a future that Caleb, for the first time in months, felt ready to fight for, no matter what came next.